Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Meenakshi and I'm doing a video series on the Indian Contract Act where we are discussing the detailed provisions and also some of the relevant case laws. Today we are discussing a very famous case, Hadley versus Baxendale. This case is of the year 1854 and it is relating to damages. There are two very important terms that we need to understand. One is damage, which means the loss suffered by a person, and damages, which means the compensation, monetary compensation that is paid to the victim. So this case is also relating to damages, payment of damages and how that can be calculated. But before moving ahead with the facts of the case or the judgment, let's see who all are involved in this case. The first person involved in this case is Hadley, the plaintiff of this case. But who is Hadley? Hadley is owner of a steam mill in Gloucester. Steam mill is basically a grinding mill where they use a steam engine to power the machine. Another entity that we will be mentioning in this case is W. Joyce and Company. They are basically a manufacturer of steam engine. And lastly, we have Baxendale, who operates a common carrier named Pickford and Company. Now, what is a common carrier? They would basically transport goods from one place to another and charge a certain amount for that service. So Hadley was owner of a steam mill and Baxendale was providing some kind of a transportation service to people. So after knowing the parties involved in this case, let's now see what actually happened in this. So the plaintiff of this case, Hadley, was owner of a steam mill in Gloucester. Now what was their main role? They will take grains from customers, clean them, ground that and process it into flour or bread. So it was like any other ordinary meals that we usually see in our nearby places, where they would take probably rice and give you rice flour. They would take dried turmeric and give you turmeric powder or things like that. But how do these meals operate? They have some machines that they use to grind all the grains or spices or other things that they receive from their customers. And it was the same with Hadley's mill as well. He used some steam engine to power the machine that he was using. But a crankshaft of that steam engine had broken. Now what is a crankshaft? It is basically like the backbone of a machine that will help the machine to rotate and operate and do whatever task it has been assigned with. So the crankshaft broke means Hadley was not in a position to operate his machines and operate his mill. So what Hadley did is he contacted with the manufacturers of that engine, W. Joyce and Company in Greenwich, and the manufacturers agreed to get a new crankshaft made from the pattern of the old broken one. But to start with this process, the engineers needed the old broken crankshaft so that they can ensure that the new one is of the perfect size and that fits well with the other parts of the steam engine. So Hadley had to transport his old broken crankshaft from his mill in Gloucester to the place where the engineers will make the new crankshaft in Greenwich. And for the purpose of this transportation, Hadley contacted with Baxendale. So who was Baxendale? He was operating a common carrier named Pickford and Company, where they would charge a certain amount from their customers and will get any kind of goods transported from one place to the other. When Hadley approached Baxendale, he also agreed that he will get that old broken crankshaft transported to the place where engineers were working and then again will transfer it back to the mill. And the same will be done before a certain fixed date and accordingly the payment was also fixed between them. But now why did this case came forward? This case was filed because Baxendale failed to deliver the crankshaft to the engineers on the promised date. He delayed to perform his part of contract. As we already know, crankshaft is a very important part of the machine. It's like a backbone. So without the crankshaft, the machine cannot be operated. So Hadley had to close down his mill for this entire duration, where performance of contract was delayed by Baxendale. So when delivery was delayed from Baxendale's part, Hadley filed a case against Baxendale for recovery of all the profit that he lost because of the delayed delivery from part of Baxendale. So what was the main question in this case? The main question in this case was whether we can hold a defendant liable for damages that the defendant was not even aware of that it would incur as a result of breach of contract from his part. So basically, whether we can hold Baxendale liable for all the profits that Hadley had to lose out because of the delayed delivery. But when in a case where Baxendale was not even aware of that because of the delayed delivery, Hadley will have to close down his mail during that entire time. Now let's see what was held in this case. In this case, it was held that Baxendale could be held liable only for the losses that were generally foreseeable. But to recover damages for loss of business, Hadley should have informed about his special circumstances in advance. So while making the contract, Hadley should have informed Baxendale that until and unless this contract is performed, he cannot open or he cannot start working in the mill. This mill will be closed down during this entire period. So the mere fact that Hadley was sending his crankshaft to be repaired, it does not indicate that he will lose out on profit if it is not delivered on time. There can actually be multiple reasons for the owner to send his crankshaft to a third party. So Baxendale had no way of foreseeing that a delayed delivery from his side would cause loss for the plaintiff because he had to shut down his mail during that entire duration. So until and unless Hadley himself communicates regarding the presence of the special circumstances in this case, that if the contract is not performed on time or if the crankshaft is not delivered on time, he will have to close down his mill, he will have to incur some loss in terms of profit. He cannot recover damages for loss of business. So basically, Baxendale was not held guilty for loss of profit that Hadley had to incur. This case is also relevant for Section 73 of the Indian Contract Act. What is Section 73? Section 73 is compensation for loss or damage caused by breach of contract. So this section also mentions that we will be compensated only for the loss that naturally arose because of that breach of contract or anything that the parties could foresee while making the contract that it will be a result of breach of the contract. So compensation will not be granted for any kind of remote or indirect loss that the parties have suffered. Same applies to this case also. Hadley was not offered damages or compensation for loss of business that he had to suffer because of delayed delivery of the crankshaft to the engineers. Why? Because Hadley failed to inform regarding presence of the special circumstances while making or entering into this contract with Baxendale. So I hope this case relating to damages under Indian Contract Act is clear to you. To refer to other videos relating to the Indian Contract Act, you can check out this playlist. And also to see other videos relating to other legal topics, you can subscribe to the channel. And in case there are any more video suggestions on which you want to see a video in the coming days, let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.